Hello and welcome to Post Point, a podcast where we here at the Puyallup Post talk about whatever we feel like. I'm Steven.
I'm Braden.
I'm Molly.
I'm Anthony.
And today we're going to be talking about some current issues and just things that have been changing on social media, dealing with how people portray their lives and how they over-edit photos to make them look better, and just how it makes people almost seem fake online these days.
Right.
I don't know, being a photographer, I definitely like I edit photos, but I'm a photographer who, there's different styles. Some people will fully over edit and make skin just completely smooth and it almost looks like it's cloudy, it just looks weird.
What it looks like.
Yeah, and I've had a photographer that I worked with that did that, and our photos just were completely different styles. And I don't like that. If I'm gonna remove anything, I just kind of smooth out any acne, and then I will raise up. Sometimes I'll raise up the blues or greens in eyes, stuff like that. But I don't wash out faces, But it seems like a lot of people now that it's so available, even on a smartphone, you can edit photos like that you take through your phone, that it seems like everyone is doing it these days, and it's just becoming oversaturated.
Yeah, it's almost like you're eliminating the photographer, right?
Yeah.
Because you become the photographer. So you're like, oh, I can have what I want it to look like, I can make it look like anything I want.
Yeah.
And with the photographer, you give them that free reign of editing it. So when it comes back to you, you're like, oh, this is what I look like.
Yeah.
But when you have the pencil, you're like, oh, I can make my eyes bigger, I can make my nose smaller, I can, so I think that's really interesting.
I think it really it eliminates a sense of beauty. There's beauty in natural beauty in a sense, because acne and different deformities on your body are beautiful in its sense. And people just eliminate that, and I don't understand why. I just don't get it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely it's just a part of life. Everyone has it, acne and stuff like that. While some, they might lose acne earlier in life, but it's just, everyone goes through it, so it's people understand.
As someone who's so far and away from that, because I can't edit anything, I have a question to posit to you all, and it's because you mentioned you yourself have a specific, you're I'll edit this away but not that. Where do we draw the line at what is okay to edit out, what isn't okay to edit out, and is that a blanket thing we can all apply, or is it really a subjective matter?
It can be a subjective matter when it comes to clients. So let's say weddings, some people will ask you to edit out everything, in the sense of all acne, make sure the teeth are perfectly white, stuff like that. But then when it's smaller clients, senior photos, they're oh, just do what you want, just make me look good, I know you can, and it's like that. But then when it comes online, there's no really
no barrier.
There's no barrier. No, people just do what they want because it's their own photo. Where I'm not gonna give a client a touched up fake photo unless that's exactly what they ask for. I feel it almost makes the photographer look worse and gives off a different style if you're not used to that, by going too far.
Yeah, I just thought of something. It also takes out the bias, right? Because if I'm looking at myself in a photo and I don't like something, but you think it looks fine, you wouldn't edit it out. I would. So then when we have that emotional connection to how we look, we will change it so much more because we want to be portrayed as perfect.
Yeah.
It's I look just like this, absolutely perfect, look at me, I'm a model, I'm this, I'm that, and then it takes away that that natural, Anthony was saying, just that who you are.
Yeah.
It's this is me, but that's not okay.
Yeah. It's definitely that sense. And I mean, people even, I looked at my sister's wedding photos, and her photographer's world renowned, and I was blown away by all of his photos. But I was I don't remember if I had any acne at that time, but I look at photos and I like just the face is clear, perfect, but it's not how it looks fake. And I'm how did he do this so well?
Right.
Or did I just not have acne? I can't remember. And it's it's almost that thing of
it makes us
was
look
it real or not?
People. My high school senior photos did that to everyone without even mentioning it.
Oh, really?
And generally the darker your skin, the more skin problems you tend to have with oil as far as that goes. And so being Puerto Rican, I'm used to being coming off a little shiny. And since they got all that out, it just looked weirdly buttery, and I was I look like a souffle. It's weird. I don't like it. Every time I see someone with that weird fuzz over them, it just I feel like it's such a matter of authenticity. It's like if social media is supposed to be this catalyst through which we're projecting our best self, doesn't this say that your best self isn't real?
Yeah. And, like, going into that sense of, like, best self, people will, like, always portray that they're happy or that they're traveling and stuff like that. And, like, while I, like, am very adventurous and I post all this stuff about archery and climbing, like, I even do it myself in the sense of, like, I'm not posting that about school and about all of that stuff. I'm just posting about the best stuff. And, like, a lot of people won't admit that. They'll be like, no, this is, like, the life I live. And then they're like, yeah, and then they're really only traveling, like, 3 times in a year, but they post photos the whole year from these, vacations, you know?
Yeah.
Well, there's also the sense of the best self and the fact that people always tell you to strive to be what you want to be. Like, you set a goal and you say, hey, I want to be at this moment and certain point in life. And I feel like people look at people like celebrities and they say, oh, I want to be just like them. I want to have my best life be just like theirs.
Yeah.
And so people, they edit things like that so that they look just like them.
I think something that is also important to touch on is an Instagram model. So, like, let's take her life, because this is our reality now, that these people are cultivating these lives on Instagram and they're making them perfect, right? So we go to school, we go home, we play sports, we do whatever.
Yeah.
That's our whole day. Their whole day is making that photo for you to look at when you get home.
Yeah.
So it's like they are giving you this fantasy life for you to strive for, but really that's all they're doing is creating that for you. So it's like curating that fake fantasy lifestyle.
And it's a perpetuated lifestyle too, because social media has become this online capitalist marketplace where if you do edit yourself really well and make yourself really aesthetically pleasing, and you happen to just want to be an entrepreneur at the same time, like I have someone in my public speaking class that she works through Instagram and she sells products and everything, and she gave a presentation on the importance of like projecting your best self. And it seemed like for her, like it was a matter, like she was being rather authentic, but I can't help but think that if I were going to do something like that, it would be far more advantageous to just show you the best parts and just like, you know, just twist it a little bit into what I need to make a profit off of that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sure.
Well, I don't know what next.
All right, so next let's discuss, so the fitness industry. Okay. On Instagram, you have all these women, now it's their job. They're a fitness instructor, personal trainer. Now they have Instagram as their platform to sell who they are, their product. So if we take like what they do, and they have like all their nutrition stuff and everything, it's just blown up. Like if I went on my Instagram right now, I'd see like so many women that are in their little cute workout clothes, their Fabletics, Lululemon, all that. Yeah. And they're selling me, oh, if you drink this, you'll look just like me.
Yeah.
Or if you do this workout, you'll look amazing. And so that makes a lot of girls want to over-exercise, body dysmorphia, which is when you want to make your body look like a different body, and when you look in the mirror, you see something different. So I had this issue like about like 6 months ago or so. I would work out and I'd be like, oh, I look different. And my boyfriend would say, no, you look the exact same. I'm like, no, it looks bad. I look different. Like, does this look different? And he's like, no. And I would just see myself different. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And it's because I'd look at so many photos of different girls and I'd be like, oh, well, my leg can't look like her leg. You know, we all have like our different bodies and we can only look like ourselves. I think that's so hard for like young girls to realize because they're constantly looking at this like beautiful girl, and then they look at themselves and they compare it, and it's like, why are we doing that? You know?
I mean, it's an easy trap to lay. I mean, I follow a bunch of like my favorite athletes and celebrities and stuff who either get paid to be on their game and look as best as possible, or it is very advantageous for them to do so. And it's the same thing. It's like, oh, like take this protein supplement. This is what I'm doing, and this is going to get you there. And you see something that's really competitive, like basketball or something, and all these guys are telling me like, I take this, well, I take that, and I take that. Well, then after a certain point, it's probably not about what you're taking and more about what you're doing, like beyond that we don't get to see. But since Americans as a whole, we want quick results without a lot of effort put into it. It's the easiest trap to lay, because you catch someone just like on a bad day, they're going to check their phone, because we all check our phones like every day, and they're going to be like, oh, that's really like all it takes. Well, I kind of have that money right now and I'm feeling down, and if there's a slim chance that this is all I need to make this happen, then why wouldn't I do it? And with all the people in the world doing that, what's the chance that doesn't work? You know, like, I don't know, hundreds of times out of the day. Yeah. It's everywhere now, and it feels like it happened overnight. I feel like one day I just checked my Instagram and just back-to-back advertisements, and I was like, these are pages. Like, when did Instagram just become a large feed of advertisements?
Yeah.
Well, I think part of that, this is going a little bit off topic, but things that we have with Facebook where they're able to track what you look at, because you see those videos and you see the people that are like, take this or do this protein powder and you'll bulk up really fast.
Yeah.
And you go online, you look at it, and you're like, what are the reviews on this? And then it goes back to your Instagram feed, because they track all that type of stuff, and they make sure they put those ads in there so that you want to buy that stuff.
Yeah, I've definitely bought like 3 things off of Instagram just from like ads that were like recommended.
Right.
And there's like things I'll actually use, like a new phone case or like certain like jackets for outdoor hiking stuff, but like definitely targeted towards me for sure. And like even yesterday, Instagram was like, did you see a GoPro advertisement ad in the last 6 hours? And I was like,
what?
Not sure. And then I didn't get anything else. I wasn't going to be like yes or no. I was like, because it says yes, no, and not sure. And I was like, that's just so weird. Because like, I'm big into YouTube's or GoPro stuff. So like, obviously I'm like, I don't care if I see ads for GoPro, but it was just weird that they asked like, have you seen this ad in the last 6 hours?
For sure. Like, piggyback off of that, if you go on YouTube and you have YouTubers, which are basically Instagram influencers on YouTube, they'll be like, oh, this is sponsored by whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I just love this Zaful bathing suit. Like, that's really popular right now. And I saw so many, like, women buying these bathing suits and, like, doing reviews for whatever reason. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's cute. Oh, it's cheap. Okay. And then I bought one. Didn't like it, but, like, I still bought one. So it's just interesting to see how, if I look up to someone and I'm like, oh, if they really like it, I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, why?
I mean, it's definitely growing. Like, this mic, I got paid to review last week on YouTube. Like, I had a company contact me to review a mic.
That's so cool.
It is cool, but, like, even small content creators are, like, falling into that, like, hey, go buy this, like, and then they make the money, even if it's not great.
And they're sponsoring people that have, like, 50,000 followers, not, like, 10 million.
Yeah.
50,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow, maybe I could do that.
And they can make a living off of just that,
Yeah.
just those advertisements. So it's like,
Crazy.
social media is influencing to make money now, pretty much.
So, Braden, how is the mic?
I like it a lot, actually. The review's up online if you want to go check it out.
Oh, man.
And going back to what Steven said earlier, everybody's just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Or trying to get the best results quickest. And you see a lot of like YouTubers, you see Instagram models that are making a lot of money just selling these fake things because advertisements pay nowadays.
Yeah.
Because capitalism.
Hashtag capitalism.
And then, I mean, it all leads back to being like fake on social media in the sense of, I mean, while it not be a photo, you might be lying to followers or whatever just to make the money. So
it's fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really like kind of the crux of this discussion. I mean, you talk to any of your friends and family, and you think those things like, oh, I look like this or I look like that, and I need to edit this, and they'll, if they're like nice people, they'll talk you up and they'll be like, no, that's not true. Like, you look fine. You look like, I don't know what you're talking about. And we all agree with that for other people around us. Like, I might have my opinion on myself, but if someone comes to me and has a similar opinion about themselves, I'll be like, no, like, you look fine. I don't know what you're talking about. And yet we still feel the need to all come forward and push this synthesized version of ourselves online, when in reality, like, when you're close to people, like, if like my best friend put something out like that, it's like, dude, I know you don't do that all the time. So like, like, who is this for? Like, who are we really doing this for when it's not at that like marketable level? Is it just an ego boost? Are we trying to pretend to be something we're not? Are we hoping that if we project that forward, we can reach that ideal self?
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive to actual progress as a person. I don't know.
Which I never really post like photos of myself. It's more either videos of me doing something or like photos of my bow or landscape, stuff like that. And I like will fairly highly edit those. But when it comes to editing portraits, I'm still taking that like creative side from landscapes into portraits and editing more of the background behind and making the whole like era of the photo feel better rather than just editing myself, you know.
That's so
and I think that people, they don't do that very much.
No.
They just edit themselves, where I'd rather make the background look more interesting
Wow.
to bring like that feel to the photo.
Yeah. For me, I was the complete opposite. I used to do photography, but of portraits.
Oh, okay.
So I would like set up my camera and do them of myself, or my brother would take them, and I would like edit like my acne or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, all the stuff you edit. I wouldn't like shape my face differently. I didn't know how to do that, but a lot of girls do that now. But I would just post all these like portraits and all these photos, and eventually I was like, I can't compete with everyone else on Instagram. Because I used to, when in like 7th grade, I was the only one that did that. And everyone was like, oh, this is so cool, and take pictures of me, and that was really great. But now, I feel like I can't compete with all of those models or the girls in my grade that post photos just like that.
Yeah. And that's like true with social media and photography in general. Like, I started out and there was only 2 photographers in my high school.
Right.
By my senior year, there was like 6.
Yeah.
And they're taking like photos for $30, and I'm like, that just devalues like photography in general.
Yeah, I used to never ask for money.
And it like is crazy with how relevant cameras are, or even you could take photos on a smartphone these days. That it just pushes that market of being, you know, editing and doing all of that stuff even more. Where like when you had to have somebody come take your photo, there wasn't that editing involved, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't have like with this phone, for example, it has like the photography
mode, the portrait mode,
like
or
level of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but what about my DSLR? Like, what about my nice camera? I'm going on vacation soon, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take my big camera along with me, but now I don't have to, I guess. But it kind of defeats the purpose of like taking the photo with the camera and doing all that.
I haven't convinced myself to do that yet, but I have like convinced with like a GoPro. I'm like, okay, this GoPro is good enough for video. I don't need to carry my whole DSLR on a 10-mile hike, you know, like I'll just carry this little camera. And yeah, with smartphones now, with the iPhone 10 and the S10 and all of those.
It defeats the purpose of having a camera, but I
but
still want it.
They're equally as much as a camera as these days, so it's like it's a part of the deal, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that it? Or do we got anything else?
We're wrapping up. Anybody have anything they want to say?
No.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for watching. You can follow us on social media at the Puyallup Post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, everything we just talked about. Yeah, so that'll be the last post point for this quarter. We hope you guys enjoyed. We'll try to bring back more next quarter. We've just been so busy and trying to get people involved and sets made and all of that stuff. So thank you guys. Yeah, we're working on it. And we'll see you guys later.